Hey guys, LevelCap here, and welcome to This Week in Gaming. Valve's HTC Vive is out this week, and eSports is having a pretty incredible spring. If you're interested in a particular news story, click its title to skip to it. Mobile users see the description for timestamps. First up, VR enthusiasts can now get their hands on Valve's VR headset, the HTC Vive. Priced at $800, the Vive is the premium competitor to the Oculus Rift, with most reviews citing that the Rift and Vive are basically the same in terms of display hardware. The standout difference between the two is the Vive's ability to provide a room-scale experience. The Vive also ships with motion controllers. Valve's first-party content for the Vive is a collection of VR experiences called The Lab, which serves primarily as an introduction to the VR interface and content. The biggest challenge for VR to overcome has shifted from being the hardware powering it to demonstrating its potential to the uninitiated. VR really is an experience that has to be tried firsthand to understand its potential, and Valve have put together a great approximation of the experience for their marketing of the Vive. They've also demonstrated other uses for VR, like spectating Dota 2 matches and their 3D painting application Tilt Brush. And while there have been some customer service issues for the UK Vive customers, it seems like the Vive's competition has bigger issues to deal with. The Oculus Rift's terms of service have come under scrutiny for giving Oculus permission to collect input data from the Rift for marketing purposes. Many people have concerns that Facebook will use the data for their own purposes as they purchased the Oculus VR back in 2013. In a statement to the press, Oculus tried to assure people that they're not sharing information with Facebook at this time, but that doesn't mean they won't eventually. Facebook is notorious for their data collection and has tainted the Rift's appeal for many people, with even Senator Al Franken voicing his concerns about the Rift's data collection. The issue was discovered when the Rift owners noticed the Oculus Store installer included a system process that is always active, even if you don't have the store application opened. Now, despite these somewhat political concerns, both the Rift and the Vive have hard evidence that VR is no longer a gimmick or a marketing buzzword, and that's pretty exciting. Now I just gotta get my hands on one. In esports news, a lot has happened this week. Twitch and Faceit have partnered up to create the Esports Championship Series, ECS, offering up $3.5 million to be paid out over the course of 2 seasons via prizes and team support. The most interesting thing about the partnership, however, is it's offering co-ownership to participating teams, meaning that they get seats on the ECS board and a cut of the revenue generated by the organization. Giving players more control and opportunity in esports is essential to its continued growth. The ECS is one of the first high-profile leagues to reward players for more than just playing the game. Hopefully they're just the first to involve the players at this level. In addition to this, the UK government is also getting involved in esports via an initiative to host an esports event at the Rio de Janeiro Olympic Games later this year. Without a cash prize on the line, it looks like the event is more of an attempt to find esports' place in the Olympics. The X Games recently started including esports in its roster of events, but the Olympics recognizing esports as a legitimate sporting event shows just how massive esports has become. Now, in hands-on gaming news, Doom's open beta has been announced. Starting on the 15th, the open beta will include 2 game modes and the same number of maps. 3 DLC packs have also been announced for the title, which will include new maps, weapons, customizations, and playable characters. The first DLC pack will release sometime this summer, and despite the DLC's announcement, it's still unclear if Doom is going to be more of a single-player or multiplayer title, as little about the campaign mode has been revealed other than you're going to kill a lot of demons. Personally, I'm mostly going to be watching out for the PC support when it comes to the open beta, since it was lacking considerably in the alpha. It'll also be interesting to see how DLC releases work with an arena-based shooter when you have games like Battlefield, Call of Duty, and Rainbow Six adding in new characters, new weapons, and entirely new themes with each DLC. It'll be interesting to see how Doom's DLC stacks up, as so far it doesn't seem like it offers quite as much. And within the same realm of big guns and shooting bad guys, the poorly received Aliens Colonial Marines got a new mod this week that attempts to fix the game's numerous issues, including fixes and modifications for just about every aspect of the game aside from the storyline. The mod has made the game difficult in meaningful ways and improved its visual quality quite a bit. And as cool as the mod sounds, it's doubtful that it's going to generate any sort of new sales for the game, but if you already own it, it could be cool to go back and give it another try. In other update news, The Division's upcoming patch notes have been released, and while they include a lot of changes, the standout one is changes to the game's crafting system. In a nutshell, it's going to take more materials to make items. As it stands, crafting is by far the easiest way to get good gear in The Division. The changes to the crafting system have concerned a lot of players, as they're potentially just another roadblock in The Division's already grind-heavy progression system. Massive are including a new mission and challenges that will reward additional crafting materials to offset the changes, but it's unclear how all the changes combined will affect the balance of the game. Most players seem to just want more viable options to get good gear outside of crafting or grinding in the Dark Zone. Speaking of the Dark Zone, Ubisoft are adding a report system via an in-game chat with the upcoming patch to make it easier for PC players to oust cheaters. However, Ubisoft cautioned players not to expect every report to result in actions against suspected cheaters, saying that when you're reporting cheaters and then you see us not taking action against the guy, it could be because the guy was actually not cheating. Unfortunately, this statement really illustrates just how broken the balance of PvP in the Dark Zone is, with players not being able to tell if they're the victim of cheating or extreme imbalance of player levels, gun stats, and character builds. A lot still needs to be done to make PvP worthwhile and engaging. And in surprising patch news, any fans of Tribes Ascend or the Tribes franchise should be happy to see that Tribes Ascend just got a patch. It kind of came out of nowhere, but the developers from Hi-Rez Studios came back to the game and wanted to leave it in a better state. Whether or not this brings players back in a large way is unclear, but it's nice to see Hi-Rez coming back. Apparently their company had to make a decision while developing Smite, and they chose to put most of their effort into Smite and kind of put Tribes on the back burner, or really abandon it for the time being. Luckily, they've come back to it, so Tribes fans can rejoice. I might even check it out myself. And finally, PS4 owners can now use the Remote Play to stream games to their PCs. With the maximum stream quality being 720p at 60 frames per second, Remote Play looks to be more for people who can't run an HDMI cable from their PS4 to their PC monitor than people looking to just play PS4 games at their PC. Either way, it's nice to have the option, especially considering the Xbox One offers a similar service. Anyway, that wraps it up for this week's episode. Gaming is moving along steadily on all fronts. Very excited about VR, PC gaming, and even console gaming. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. This is LevelCap, signing off.